Welcome back. Today I'm joined by Dr. Trin, who is here on behalf of Irvine Clinical Research. And we're here to talk about some updates on Alzheimer's, as well as something very interesting that they're doing in clinical trials right now. Well, it's so nice to see you again. How are you?
Very good. Nice to see you as well.
And I hear you're staying busy, Zooms galore.
My third Zoom this morning. So multiple every day. And it's like I'm a Zoom expert without ever being trained, just because we were kind of pushed into Zoom.
Exactly. So, let's talk about some update here on Alzheimer's research. Is there some new information out there right now?
There's quite a bit of very exciting things in the horizon here. The first I can tell you is that we have a medication sitting at the laps of the FDA right now to be reviewed for possible approval next year. And this is exciting because, and I don't know what the outcome will be. I don't know if the FDA will approve this medication. All I do know is that it's been very long since the last medication was approved. I think it was 2003 with Namenda was the last original medication to be approved. So nothing since 2003 really. But if this medication gets approved next year, and I think the date that the FDA is going to decide is the end of March, is when their committee makes the decision. If it gets approved, it will be the first medication in the world that is designed to remove the Alzheimer's plaque that's in the brain.
Wow.
We don't have anything designed for that.
Well, that's, and what would that actually do if you remove the plaque? What does that do?
Well, if successful, and if we can act on the plaque early on before it causes significant damage to the brain, right? The theory is that the Alzheimer's plaque, what it does is that it builds up in the brain and it interrupts the brain cells' ability to communicate and connect, and so the brain cells die over time. And so the belief is that if we can remove the plaque early on in the disease process, then we can change the course of Alzheimer's.
Wow. Wouldn't
Literally.
that be nice? Man, that is amazing. And it's just a shame that it's taken so long.
Well, and again, we don't know if the FDA will approve it or not, but they will review the data. They accepted the data to be reviewed just 2 months ago, and the decision is going to be made at the end of March. It's very interesting and very exciting for those of us working in the field that we may be able to provide something and have something of hope for the many patients in our area who need that hope.
Have they been doing the trials here in the United States or abroad?
Globally, it's been done, and that medication actually sits in our office as well. We are part of this global network that have been conducting clinical trials on this specific medication, along with other locations throughout the United States. And
that is very exciting.
Yeah, crossing our fingers.
You won't have any knowledge of that until next March, right? Till it's approved?
End of March is when the FDA is going to decide and make a decision on the data.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, keep us up to date on that. That is really exciting news. Thank you for that. Now, the next thing I think is so interesting, eating seaweed for brain health. Well, before we came on, we talked a little bit about seaweed, right? So I thought that you were talking about that green seaweed that I could get at Trader Joe's, but that's not the seaweed you're talking about.
Yeah, I think we did a session, Lisa, on gut health in the past, and how the health of your gut is related and connected to the health of your brain, right? And we've, in the last few years, drawn this connection between gut health and brain health. And so this is really interesting. So epidemiology studies have shown, and what it is, they look around the world at groups of patients, groups of people that were brain healthy. They didn't have a lot of Alzheimer's in their communities and where they live and things of that sort. And they found these groups of folks who in Asia, in Southeast Asia area, they lived and they didn't have a lot of Alzheimer's among these groups. And so the scientists were studying, they're like, what is it among you guys? You know, what's the common factors in your nutrition, in your lifestyle that where you didn't get Alzheimer's? And it turned out that these groups of folks had a specific diet. And believe it or not, they ate a lot of seaweed. and and they're specifically, I think brown seaweed, I think was the type of seaweed. Now, I'm not recommending that we all, you know, head out to Huntington Beach and, you know, to grab seaweed to start munching on and, you know, definitely don't do that. I'm not doing that. But they found out that apparently in the seaweed, they were able to extract some compounds in this seaweed that that they believed helped with brain health. Now, this has not been validated yet. This has not been proven yet. This is only in clinical trials. But the neat thing is this, and this medication, this seaweed compound, is made into a pill so that you can take a pill as opposed to eating long strands of seaweed every day, right? And so this compound, the way it works is this. The seaweed compound improves the health of your gut. So it improves the biodiversity of the bacteria in your gut and the good bacteria and all that. And by improving the health of your gut, it indirectly improved the health of the brain. And this was shown in studies done in China, in studies done in Southeast Asia, where they tested this. And as a matter of fact, in China, it's now FDA approved for the Chinese to take as a pill form. So we're looking at all that. We're looking at their data, and we are bringing these studies, these clinical trials, to the United States.
Is that something that would be considered much like a probiotic?
Yeah, you can see it as a probiotic, I guess, although it's very specific to this one compound that's in brown seaweed. But the whole idea is to improve your gut health.
Gotcha.
And by improving gut health, you improve brain health. So it's very neat. We are bringing this study to Irvine Clinical Research over the next few months. It's not ready to launch yet. You know, anyone interested in that kind of stuff, you know, they can contact me. But very neat. I mean, I love nutrition. I love the fact that your food should be your medicine. And here we have a food product, right? Or a semi-food product, part of seaweed to improve health. So it's really along the lines of plant-based medicine.
Yeah, well, that is pretty bizarre. But you know, we've got a lot of brown seaweed out there, but we can't be harvesting it too much because then the fish won't have anywhere to live.
Yeah, and I don't recommend harvesting it. I mean, the clinical trials need to be validated. I mean, it could show that it didn't work over here, right? It works over there. Who knows yet? It's early in the game, but it's new research coming out.
Oh, well, that's really, again, number 2 exciting. Good for you. You've got some exciting stuff. I like it. It's always good to talk with you with all this new stuff coming down the pike. Well, let's talk about some old stuff. COVID-19's been with us now for about 6 or 7 months. We've been talking to you and several others about what they've been doing, how they've been dealing with it. What are some things that you are looking forward to over the next few months, either with or without COVID?
Yes, I would recommend that that for those of you guys watching on TV here, that if you have not had the flu shot, this would be a good year to get that flu shot, because there's going to be 2 viruses running around this flu season, and it's going to be very confusing. Folks will have flu-like symptoms, and they're not going to know if they have COVID or if they have the flu, and so very important to go out there and get that flu shot, guys. This is a especially important year for that. I took my family out to Walgreens, and we all got the flu shot a few weeks ago. I think if you bring your health card, if it's covered by your health plan, the flu shot is free. at CVS and Walgreens, or you can go to your doctor's office. So you've heard about the second wave, right? That is expected, and I believe there's 20, 30 states now that are seeing a rise in COVID, and so it's time to just be extra careful out there. I know that we can't keep everything shut down forever. We need jobs. We need people working. Sometimes it's not really the economy versus COVID. Sometimes it's COVID versus mental health is what I'm seeing.
Yes.
The rate of depression of folks being stuck at home, the rate of anxiety and alcoholism and domestic violence and all that. So it's very important to balance all these other sides to being stuck at home.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we are seeing a rise of coronavirus. Knock on wood, Orange County have been doing well over the last month or so. Our
Right.
numbers, I've been tracking the numbers almost every day because I'm in the hospital admitting patients in the ER.
Mhm.
And our numbers have been improving, but I'm starting to see a slight tick up on the ICU beds and the admissions.
Exactly.
And so super important to get the message out on Channel 6 here to Laguna Woods folks here with that.
Yes, in fact, we've talked to a few different doctors now who are definitely touting that having the flu shot is definitely something you can do to help your body to build the immunities. Now, it doesn't necessarily ward off getting COVID-19 or coronavirus, but it does help your body have a much more sufficient immune system. So, if you do get the flu, it may not be as severe as if you would have gotten it otherwise without, gotten it without the vaccine. So everything you do for your body is going to be quite helpful going forward.
That's right. Yeah, it's one thing to avoid and prevent COVID. It's another thing to optimize your immune system as much as you can if you were exposed to COVID. This is a
Exactly.
two-pronged approach. Yes,
Exactly.
very important.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for the great news and the updates. We really appreciate it. And let's chat again soon so we can hear more about the seaweed.
All right, anytime. Take care and thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Tren.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. And we'll be right back after this.